Well, Labor leader Anthony Albanese has thrust veteran suicide into the spotlight, calling for a royal commission. RSL sub-branches across New South Wales are trying to reduce the number of vets taking their own lives by helping them in the transition from service to work.
Yes, the hope is that if this initiative is successful, it could be rolled out across the country. And joining us now is veteran and military lawyer Glenn Kolomeitz. Glenn, good morning to you. We've had you on the show before. Let's talk firstly about the Royal Commission and what your thoughts are. Just as Tim mentioned, we've just heard from Anthony Albanese. Prime Minister Scott Morrison has certainly said he's open to a Royal Commission.
Yeah. We need the Royal Commission. We need that deep dive into root causation. We need to be able to look across agencies and across the issues, as I say, in that deep dive to get back to the heart of what's causing this.
So it's good from your perspective to have the opposition leader come out and say it. I suppose the next one for you is to hear from the Morrison government.
This must be a bipartisan approach. So it was great to hear the opposition leader. I want to hear the Prime Minister commit to it and then just get on and make it happen.
Let's talk about your new initiative. How did it all start?
Look, this wasn't mine originally. I just plagiarised it, but a bunch of RSL sub-branches in the Nambucca area got together with their Shire Council and local businesses to help to encourage veterans and their families to settle in the area and get jobs in the area. So great initiative, which I've taken on board, and I've now rolled it out down my way. So I've spoken with Kiama Council to try and get the business chamber there on board. And next week I'll be going to Shoalhaven and Wollongong councils and make it bigger.
That sounds great. What do you... I was going to ask you this last time you were on the program. We were done for time. For those just Australian people who come across service people that have come back from overseas, who have seen dark places, how can we help on an interpersonal level?
Yeah.
Is it listening? Is it talking? Is it...
Listening and talking, absolutely. Just engaging. You know, we tend to engage with our veterans twice a year, Anzac Day, Remembrance Day, but there's a lot of other days in the year, and a lot of not all veterans are broken. Some are very capable of getting back into the workforce straight away, but it's still a hard transition for anyone back into civilian life. So just getting out there and engaging with their families and saying, look, what can we do? How can we get you back into the workplace? How are you going in this community? Or like Nambucca, come to our community. You know, bring your family. It's a great place to live, and same as the South Coast. Come down here. We'll help you get work. We'll help your family get work. Get on board.
Because it's all about connection, having a purpose,
That's right.
and feeling like you are in a community.
Yep.
What sort of businesses have you found that have been quite responsive to this?
Look, down the coast now, as I say, Kiama councils are going to engage with the business chamber, but there's a lot of military people bringing a lot of skill sets which aren't immediately identifiable. The average infantry soldier, you would think, can't really apply many of the skills they have in civilian street, but that's not right. They bring this great mindset. They bring a lot of skills which we need to now look at and identify and apply to the workplace. So very broad spectrum of employment opportunities, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, diligence, acumen, being ready, all those wonderful components that we need in the workplace. Yeah. How is the system letting veterans down?
Look, I think it all starts back at defence, defence maladministration, abuse of the administrative and disciplinary processes, the way people are thrown out, either medically or administratively. That's quite disgraceful. It leaves veterans broken and almost let down by the family that they've known for years. So they've got to fix that transition space, fix the way people are removed from defence or leave defence, and then fix how they're received by Veterans Affairs. So it starts at defence and it ends at Veterans Affairs and everything in between.
Because unfortunately we are seeing rates of suicide. I mean, they're just very high among the veterans, which is shocking.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. It's higher. A health study recently identified it's higher than the average outside, and they identified for the first time women. The suicide of women veterans is higher than the average outside, and that's just disgraceful.
Are we too quick, and Anthony Albanese spoke about this yesterday, are we too quick to send servicemen and women to foreign war zones?
You know, I don't happen to agree. I know what the Leader of the Opposition is talking about here, about debating deployments. I don't happen to agree with this debate to deploy. And we saw with East Timor, John Howard managed to deploy troops very quickly to get in there and fix the problems. Had they debated that through the Parliament, they wouldn't have had that time-sensitive reaction. So I don't believe we are too quick, but I believe we're not good enough in helping when they get back. So our timings to go are good, but when they get back, the ball's being dropped.
Well, what you're certainly doing is helping in a massive way. As you mentioned, you started in Nambucca Heads, you've got Kiama. I suppose that you're moving in other regional and city areas as well.
Yeah, Shoalhaven and Wollongong this week, and across the state and across the country, hopefully.
Fantastic.
I want councils to contact me. We'll make this happen.
Yeah, and how can they do that?
I think through Sky, if you guys are prepared to help me with this one.
Yeah.
Your producers have my details, or contact your local RSL sub-branches and say, are you getting on board this initiative? Then the sub-branch can talk to the council and the business chamber and start making these sorts of things happen.
It's great that people like you are passionate about this. Are you starting to see those little scintillas, those little moments of positivity, that reaction, that one-on-one stuff?
Yeah, look, I spoke at the Rotary Club in Kiama on Remembrance Day evening, and the response from everyone in that club was amazing. Not just supportive, but really thinking about how they can help, to the point that people come up to me afterwards and said, what can we do individually? So that's really good. People are really starting to click that we can do this. We can make this happen.
And the surfing's going well. The surfing for veterans.
Yeah. Rusty's putting a lot of veterans through. I haven't seen you guys down there yet.
Oh, no, we're supposed to be doing it. Just waiting for the summer months.
It's warm now.